Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric and Chad here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we have another gun gripe episode for you, and this one's going to be a relatively short episode. I just want to kind of give you guys a quick reminder. We're going to go over a few things real quick about David Chipman. His confirmation is set to be held tomorrow, the vote for his Senate confirmation, so we'd like to kind of go over a few details with you and make sure that you guys are contacting your reps and everything like that. Before we get too far into it, I'd like to take a moment to thank our friends at Firearms Legal Protection. Their legal services will actually protect you if you're involved in a personal defense situation, or if you have a red flag law thrown down on you and they come in and confiscate all your guns. They'll actually provide legal support, and they have really, really fair fees. So if that's something you've been looking to get into, some type of concealed carry insurance, I know there's different folks out there. Firearms Legal Protection is cool because they are very affordable and they kind of stick to the beans and bullets of the situation in terms of having their lawyers on call, ready to go. Some states consider it like a prepaid legal service, and then others consider it more of an insurance. But the way to think of it is certainly as a concealed carry insurance. So if you are involved in a shooting, that can get you, in the right direction, get you the legal representation you need. So let's get into it here. We're going to sort of dive into the weeds a little bit. So you guys know that we don't agree with David Chipman's past. If you look at his resume, he is a known anti-gun activist. He did a lot of work with the Giffords Foundation, which is a well-known and well-established anti-gun advocacy group, or let's just say anti-gun group. So I think that people should really, in their minds, think about this thing in a way that, do you really want a government bureaucracy being ran by someone who has known ties to anti-gun groups? I mean, especially something as polarizing as the ATF. The ATF is already an organization that has rubbed many people the wrong way, and a lot of people disagree with their tactics. They disagree with their logic, or some would say lack of logic, when it comes to the way they apply certain principles to what they do. Not only their overall approach to the way that they do their jobs. I mean, the ATF already has a dank stain on it, right? Things like Waco, things like Ruby Ridge. There's been many things. So we don't have to go into the weeds about why the ATF needs to be careful about people like Chipman. There are even people within the ATF now and who have previously been acting directors of the ATF who have come out and said that Chipman is a loose cannon, he's dangerous, he's an extremist, and so it's a very important thing that we look at this from a very, very open lens and see that he is a very dangerous person to have leading the ATF. There's an article here I wanted to just share a quick statement from. So it was actually former acting director Michael Sullivan. So he was the ATF acting director during the Bush administration from September of 2006 to January of 2009. His statement regarding Chipman: his partisan advocacy is his right as a private citizen, but engaging in his specific advocacy means his ability to objectively carry out the constitutional and legal responsibilities of the ATF and effectively lead the more than 5,000 men and women who serve there will be questioned both within and outside of the ATF. Okay, Chipman's bias against the exercise of Second Amendment rights has been obvious for years. Okay, so this is a former acting director of the ATF who came out and made this statement.
Well, it ties into something I want to mention. I mean, you have someone who's such a fervent anti-gunner, leading an organization that is supposed to regulate a constitutionally protected right. Those two things just really don't mix. And, Chipman was directly involved with Waco. I don't think people really understand his involvement in that tragedy itself. This is not the kind of person you want heading up this organization. He will certainly run it into the ground as far as trampling all over Second Amendment rights. I mean, we're already seeing this with, other things that are going on right now that we will be covering very shortly, like the knee brace regulations. We still have the firearms frames and receivers proposed rule that's active right now, that the comment period is still open on. There's several things right now, and if you think that this is bad right now, the proposed rules regarding 2A rights, wait until Chipman gets in, and we're going to have rules like this coming down the pipeline all the time where they want to reinterpret the laws that are on the books. I mean, if you guys listen to any of the confirmation hearing itself, I mean, Chipman was being grilled by senators like Ted Cruz, and he would not answer the questions presented to him. I mean, at all. He would just bounce around these questions. When asked if an AR-15 was a machine gun, he would bounce around. And finally, what basically came out was, well, I consider all AR-15s to be machine guns and they need to be regulated. So this is a man that is a fervent supporter of assault weapons bans. He's wanted to see these things banned for many, many years. Common sporting rifles that everybody uses, things that are in common use, he wants to see them off of the streets. You know, it's asinine to think that somebody like this could lead an organization like the ATF and have a neutral standpoint and look at it from an objective standpoint and just follow the laws that are on the books and respect the constitutional right that the ATF is supposed to be regulating. Okay, I mean, that's just, it's insane. It's
I
insane.
don't think it's asking too much for a government entity. You know, you look at an alphabet agency, no matter what they are, no matter if it's, you know, the FDA, the EPA, the FBI, the CIA, you know, the ATF, all of these alphabet agencies, right? They should at least view what they are doing with regulations and with the proposed laws and with, you know, all of the science and research and things they're supposed to back up their findings and all. They should at least view it under a lens of not only constitutionality, but facts, data, statistics, all right? All of that should come into play. But most importantly, when you swear that oath to the Constitution, all right, you work for the federal government, you know what I mean? You should have a patriotic sense of duty in your heart to do what's right by the citizens of your country and respect the supreme law of the land, which is the Constitution of the United States. On that very thin margin, the Second Amendment shall not be infringed. All right, it's very clear constitutional language. So it's very baffling to many of us how any suggested rule or implementation of a rule or the reinterpretation of a law could even possibly be outside of that vein in any other way. Like, it's the most clearly written language in the Constitution, and it's so high on the list. The Second Amendment is the second thing they thought of to put in that document. If you're making a list of important things to write down, they viewed the Second Amendment as such an important thing to consider that they put that language in there, shall not be infringed, right? When you look at, we're going to get into this brace thing and we're going to get into this receiver thing in a separate video, so I won't necessarily go there. But Chipman is dangerous, and you need to contact your reps. They're actually voting on this very, very soon. Like, I think today is the 16th. They're voting on it tomorrow. We were going to cut a video a little bit sooner, but we were traveling, and I wasn't able to get a video up a little sooner. We did do a video about Chipman several weeks ago, so check that out if you want a little bit more backstory that we might not have covered here in this particular video. But we mainly wanted this to be kind of a call to action. We need everyone to contact their reps, flood their inboxes, flood their emails and phone lines and everything like that. Fax machines, whatever you can do. We have to flood them with lots and lots and lots of comments and lots of, get in there and make it happen.
Information down below.
Right, there's information down below. And also, I'm just going to mention this because it's going to be a day or two before I can get the brace and receiver video up. We do have some more gripes coming. But just as a quick antidote here, make sure that you go and leave a comment on both the brace and receiver proposed rule change. It's two separate things in the Federal Registry you have to comment under. And guys, look, don't go in there and say a bunch of lewd and profane crap, right? Keep it factual, right? Keep it professional. Look, it's very important in these comments that you're leaving that you explain how it's going to economically affect you, how it's going to affect the safety of your family, how it's going to affect your ability to survive, how it's, you need to discuss the economic factors, the security factors, not only that, but, the infringements on your rights you obviously, so look, there are many different veins that this affects us, how it's going to affect the industry, how it's going to affect jobs, right? How it's going to affect revenue and taxes. Listen, guys, they're the government. This is what they care about, right? They care about money. Okay, so if you can make them understand the financial ramifications of this, they will quickly realize, hey, this is a terrible idea, right? At a time when our country is going through just an unprecedented amount of people losing their jobs. I mean, you look at the COVID crush and all the stuff that was going on, people out of work and everything. You mean to tell me that you're going to pass some arbitrary, crazy rule regarding frames and receivers or braces that will potentially, and will, not only potentially, will affect the livelihoods, jobs, security, and overall holistic financial portfolio of millions of Americans in an extremely negative way, right? So at a time when we're all worried about how we're gonna, move on and make a living and move on in our world and in our life and in our freedom, right? We're gonna move forth in our freedom. So at a time when we're all wondering how we're gonna pick up the pieces and move on, they want to throw this wrench into the plans even more and cause even more discord.
Yep.
That is how you must articulate it. Make them understand the discord that will happen in your life, in society, in the firearms industry, and not only that, but the moral and principally wrong things and constitutionally invalid things regarding it. Make them understand it in that way. Articulate it, and you'll be fine. But please leave a comment on the frames and the braces. You'll see the stuff down in the description box below. Also, we'll leave a link in the description box below that you can go and oppose Chipman as well. I believe FPC has a little site set up. I think GOA does as well. It even has like a pre-written letter, I believe. You can just go through and submit.
So the pre-written letters are okay. I mean, that makes it very convenient for people who just want to go out and just send something in and just say they did something. But
we can doctor it up a little bit.
Yeah, but like in your own words, I mean, just flooding someone's inbox with the same exact nomenclature is one thing, but a personalized letter stating why you oppose Chipman's nomination is much better.
Right.
But I really do appreciate what GOA and FPC do. They do make things very easy for folks, especially folks who just don't have much time to be able to get on there and actually do some advocacy. But
sure.
One thing I wanted to mention was checks and balances. Okay, when we see these proposed rules and stuff pop up, and we see things like Chipman's confirmation and all, and things that he said that he wants to lead the ATF to do, we still have checks and balances. The ATF, as an alphabet agency, can't just dictate the law how they so choose, or pick and choose and cherry pick what they want to focus on enforcing or what they don't want to focus on enforcing, whatever the case is, or how they're going to interpret that enforcement, whatever the case is. Laws are written and they're submitted and then they're legislated and then they're signed by the president and then they're enforced. It doesn't work backwards. They don't get to just say that, oh, this is the way we're going to interpret this now, and then things have to go through the courts in order for any changes to be made. But that's the time that we're living in right now. Things get done, FPC makes the lawsuit printer go burr, and then we wind up in the courts, and then FPC wins, and then we're back at the cycle again, just like we've seen with bump stocks in the past.
So it's worth noting, all right, the light at the end of the tunnel is that now while this bump stock thing, not only will I will always view it as a stain on Trump's presidency, but, all right, this bump stock thing, Trump used executive fiat to move on bump stocks. All right, what happened? The court ended up determining, hey, you can't, an executive order is not a law, okay? They do not carry the weight of law, right? You can't just sign a pen and make a law. Laws have to go through checks and balances, through the Congress. There's a process for passing a law. So basically what this ruling on the bump stock thing gave us, right, is that these alphabet agencies lack the authority, the constitutional authority to make laws, obviously. All right. So, and that's essentially what that, I believe it was the Ninth Circuit ruling ended up determining on bump stocks, was that they do not have the authority to just arbitrarily
say that that's a machine gun.
Yes. If the law doesn't say it's a machine gun, they can't just say it's a machine gun. So that is the same face that the brace thing is going to fall on. It's going to fall right on its face. Don't assume and don't sit back. You need to leave those comments. We've got to be active. I think right now on the Federal Register on the brace thing, there's over like 50,000 comments. We need to get that up to 100,000 comments.
Easy.
Get your butt in there and leave a comment. And look, it doesn't have to be some elaborate dissertation that takes you an hour to write. It can be very simple. Hey, I so and so am a concerned citizen who happens to be a bump stock owner, a brace owner, whatever. In this case, a brace owner. Hey, I'm concerned about my family's safety. I purchased an AR-15 with a brace because it's compact. It fits in my closet easier. I can protect my house with it. I can maneuver it in my home and protect my family.
It's easier for everyone else in my house to use.
It's easier to shoot. I mean, look, you've got to articulate it in a way like, hey, I lost my job during COVID. It took everything I had to buy this brace pistol. An extra $200 would put me at a great financial burden, right? Not only that, but an extremely regulatory burdensome issue that I have great personal issue with, right? I don't want to have to submit all of my information to the government to peek under the hood of my house. This is my home. I'm trying to protect it. And this is a tool that I need to protect it. And I really wish the ATF would just back off and let us live our life. It's okay. Just articulate it simply and submit it, and everything will be okay.
And also notate how you are not willing to become a criminal arbitrarily by the stroke of a pen.
Right.
I mean, this is the way that David Chipman, as director of the ATF, will look at the American citizenry. The American gun-owning citizenry is a bunch of criminals. He just hasn't caught them yet. I mean, that's his mentality toward us. I mean,
yes. So guys, just look. In the vein of this particular video, there's 3 things I need you to do immediately. I need you to oppose Chipman's Senate confirmation. Go over and contact all your reps. I need you to go leave a comment on the brace proposed ruling and the proposed receiver rule. Now, I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but there is another federal assault weapons ban in the works too. They're trying to slip some federal gun control legislation under the radar while all this is going on, hoping that people will be distracted by it. And I believe Feinstein, of course, she got it out and went and blew the dust off and said, here, just throw this on the table. Let's just throw one more thing in there. So listen, guys, the anti-gunners have unlimited funds, unlimited money, unlimited resources. They own social media. They own the mainstream media. They own all these talking heads and blue checks on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And they own these people, right? They have the perfect storm for them to be able to pass what they want because of the amount of money and influence that they've garnered and the amount of controlled opposition that they have in their hat too, right? So guys, we're just a small group of people, the pro-gun people out there that are actually out here saying something about it. I mean, guys like us, guys like Military Arms Channel, Mr. Guns and Gear, Gun Collective, Guns and Gadgets, Johnny. Look, there's all these dudes out here that are taking really good effort to try to keep you informed about your rights and things that are going on. But at the end of the day, you guys have to get involved. Like, we can't do it alone. We have to have you guys help us with this. We all have to get involved with this, and we got to show them that we can come together as a community and put our bullcrap differences aside and focus on the bull in the room. Right now, we need to grab the bull in the room by the horns and stomp him before he breaks all the china in the room. That's actually a myth, by the way. A bull in a china shop is really not a big deal. The Mythbusters tested it.
Is it a bull in a china shop, or is it the elephant in the room?
It could be anything, but it's important, right? So look, when you're over on FPC and you're leaving a comment, if you follow the link down in the description box below, and let's just say you go over to GOA or FPC to use their forum to go contact your reps or sign on to the petition or whatever, donate a few bucks. Even if it's $5, it really helps their efforts because it's not free for them to hire lawyers and to submit lawsuits and all this documentation they have to come up with and everything like that. It costs a lot of money. Legal fees are expensive, and FPC is doing a great job of actually fighting the real legal battles that affect gun owners, and they are obtaining victories, right? The bump stock thing with GOA and Tim Harmson, that was a victory, right? That set forth a very distinct precedence, right? And then what was the other thing the FPC just went through?
Recently, a judge in California ruled that the assault weapons ban in the state is unconstitutional, and that was the Miller versus Bunta case. I think that's the name of it. That they've been working on for quite some time now. And Newsom and the Attorney General, I believe, in California, they're working to appeal right now. So the case is going to go back into the courts at some point or another. But we should expect big things to come from that ruling. I mean, it could set a precedent where federal level assault weapons bans are completely unconstitutional and they never make it off of the legislative desk.
So here's the thing.
So there is some good light at the tunnel.
There is. All these people have been complaining that California has gotten left in the dust, right? That's one of the most distinctive complaints that I've seen from people in pro-gun advocacy realm is, especially, I hate to say this, but it's just true, especially with the NRA, right? Yeah. Oh, well, the NRA has left California behind. That's what you always see. People are upset and they're perturbed at the lack of things that have gotten done on the fronts of places like California, right? It seems like these gun advocacy groups, they only focus on controlled opposition. They only focus on areas where they know they can just make something happen really easily, like the low-hanging fruit. They don't go after the big dogs, right? FPC put in the money and the time to fight this, right? And they're gaining ground, right? So that's why a lot of people really prefer FPC and have been supporting GOA and FPC because they're actually getting in there and taking those funds that they're getting in and using them to actually get in there and fight legal battles in court.
Let's not forget that the NRA has left everyone behind, not just California, at this time and age. So,
oh, yeah. Yep.
Anyways.
Well, guys, make sure you do those 3 things for me. I would really appreciate it. If you'd like to support our efforts for making these videos, you can certainly do that. Go over to Ballistic Ink, pick yourself up a snazzy t-shirt. Also, we got some man cans for sale, tons of cool things like that. You can also become a Patreon supporter if you wish and make a monthly donation. A big thank you to our Patreon supporters for what they do for us. These videos are not free to make. Our time is not free. So it does, just like FPC, just like GOA, it takes us time to make this content, to edit it, to put it out there, to research it. So by supporting our efforts, you're also supporting, getting other people involved and getting the 2A community a little bit more in tune with what's going on. And we have always, strived to use our platform in a way that we think will help the 2A community at large, and that's very important to us. I mean, yeah, we make gun videos, we do all different kinds of stuff. We like to educate people and make educational videos and some of our redneck science, and yes, we have more meltdowns on the way. Don't worry, we have more coming. But all that aside, we can't enjoy all those things if we don't keep the Second Amendment protected. So, these videos are the armor that protect all the other content and protect our rights. And we feel that it's very important to make these videos because we need people to get involved and get out there and really be ambassadors for our rights. And I think that people are doing a great job. I want to see those comments go out the roof, guys. So let's get that number up above 100,000. We're at like 50,000 now. I want to see 100,000 comments on the brace proposal and the receiver proposal. And I want everybody to go and email their reps regarding Chipman because his Senate confirmation vote is tomorrow. So that's what I need you guys to do.
Go on, guys. Go do it.
All right. Guys, have a good one. Oh, and one more thing.
Oh, boy.
Whenever I am going to submit my comment on both of those. But when I do, I think the guys at The Truth About Guns have agreed. I think they usually publish my comment for me. So I will publicly publish the comment that I'm submitting to the ATF so that everyone can read it and know exactly where I'm coming from. So I will publicly publish. Don't worry, you will see my comment pop up soon. I haven't left a comment yet, but I will. Mine's going to require, me.
I was kidding about them reluctantly publishing.
I like to go Rain Man and really dive into the weeds. So I'm going to really try to articulate a lot of things in my comment. So I want to make sure it's written right. So I'm going to take a little bit more time and write it right.
That's why Brandy and I will proofread it.
That's right. They will. So I will publish it somewhere. And you guys will see it. So thank you very much. Have a good one. Many more videos on the way. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.